Ever wonder what happens when a hitman puts a contract on his own life, only to realize he's not dying after all? Buckle up, because Dave Bautista's The Killer's Game takes this wild premise and cranks the action up to 100. Let's dive in. Bautista plays Joe Flood, a top-level contract killer who's basically untouchable until life throws him a curveball. After being diagnosed with a terminal illness, Joe makes a drastic choice. In one of the wildest decisions a hitman could make, he puts out a contract on himself. Yep, you heard that right. He set his own demise into motion so that his life insurance can take care of his loved ones. But hold up, here's where things get interesting. The diagnosis was wrong. By the time Joe finds out he's not actually dying, it's already too late. The assassins are coming, and there's no way to call them off. What follows is an adrenaline-fueled race against time, where Joe has to fend off wave after wave of killers, each deadlier than the last, all hired by, well, himself. Now let's talk action. This movie doesn't hold back. The fight scenes are intense, fast, and pretty chaotic in the best way possible. Think of it like a throwback to those explosive action films of the 2000s, but with a modern twist. You've got that comic book energy running through the entire movie, and it's non-stop. But here's the kicker: each assassin Joe faces gets this dramatic, larger-than-life introduction. You know, the kind where you think they're going to be a major player in the story. The camera zooms in, there's flashy graphics, and just when you think, okay, this one's going to be tough, BAM! Joe takes them down faster than you can blink. It's like they're here for a cameo and then gone. It's both hilarious and a little bit frustrating at times. While these encounters are a blast to watch, there's a bit of a pattern that starts to emerge. One assassin comes, they fight, Joe wins. Rinse, repeat. It's fun, don't get me wrong, but after the third or fourth hitman shows up, you start craving a little more. There's definitely a boss battle feel to it, like something straight out of a video game. Now, if you're the kind of viewer who's all about spectacle and fast-paced action, this will keep you glued to the screen. But if you're hoping for some deeper exploration of these colorful assassins, you might feel like they exit the scene a bit too soon. One standout assassin? Cruz. Yep, he makes an appearance, and unlike some of the other killers, he actually gets a bit more screen time and, thankfully, some personality. He's a breath of fresh air in a sea of nameless hitmen, and his scenes have just the right amount of charisma to leave an impression. It's one of those moments where you're like, okay, now this could get interesting. But again, this film isn't really aiming to dig deep into its characters. Now, let's talk about the visuals. And yeah, there's something we've got to address. The blood. It's pretty much all CGI, and I know some of you are probably thinking, CGI blood? I feel you. It can take you out of the moment. There's just something about practical effects that makes action scenes feel more grounded, more real. Here, though, they went full digital, probably because it matches that over-the-top, almost animated vibe the movie's going for. Don't get me wrong, it works in the context of the film's stylized, comic book-esque atmosphere. But if you're someone who loves the gritty, real-feeling violence of practical effects, this might not hit the mark for you. But it's not all blood and bullets. There's a surprising romance subplot woven in. Joe falls for a ballerina played by Sofia Boutella, and surprisingly, it works. You wouldn't expect a movie like this to pull off a tender love story, but the chemistry between these two is actually kind of sweet. It gives the movie some emotional grounding. But, and this is a big but, the tonal shifts are a bit jarring. One second, you're watching this heartfelt moment between two people, and the next, you're back to shootouts and explosions. It's a bit of an emotional roller coaster, and the transitions could have been handled more smoothly. So, what's the verdict on The Killer's Game? Well, it's one heck of a wild ride. If you go into it looking for deep storytelling or complex character arcs, you might be left wanting. But if you're here for action, spectacle, and just a fun time watching Bautista kick some serious butt, then this is the movie for you. Think of it as the perfect popcorn flick, a little messy, a lot of fun, and definitely something to throw on with friends for a good time. Alright, I've shared my thoughts now, it's your turn. Have you seen The Killer's Game? What did you think of Dave Bautista in this role? And how do you feel about the action versus the romance? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'm super curious to hear what you think. And, of course, don't forget to smash that like button if you enjoyed the review and subscribe for more awesome content. We've got a ton of movie breakdowns, reviews, and deep dives coming your way. Until next time, thanks for watching.